guys, in today's tutorial I am going to be showing you how to crochet this cute little bong keychain. There will be a written tutorial or a written pattern that you can purchase following this video. It will not be available until the end of the first week of March or the end of February was when the written pattern will be available. But please make sure to give this video a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, subscribe to this channel, and let's go ahead and take a look at the materials that are needed for this video. Okay, so the materials needed is some 4-weight yarn for the main body. I'm going to be using this pink. I have a 4-weight black yarn, or you can use 2 strands of 2-weight yarn held together. This is going to be for the cheeks. You will need something green. I have this in a 2-weight for the bong portion, and then I have the pink. For the bong, and then I have the pink for the cheeks. The crochet hook is going to be a 2.5 millimeter. I also have a stitch marker, tapestry needle, some sort of glue. You will need some small safety eyes. I believe those are 2 millimeter. You will also need a keychain of some sort and a pair of cutting items. I'm just going to be using these nail clippers. So let's go ahead and get started with today's video. One more thing that you will need is some stuffing to put inside of this as we're going. You will not need very much. Now, beginning with the pink, or with your main body color, we are going to make the little bowl portion first so that we can make the rest of this in one piece. So go ahead and grab your hook, and we are going to begin with a magic loop or magic ring. So if you don't know how to do the magic ring, I will have in the description box down below a link to my tutorial, or there are many tutorials out there on YouTube. So now that we have that, what we want to do is make 5 single crochets into that hook. So let me get a little bit closer here. So, or into the ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and now that we have that, what we want to do is go ahead and pull that ring closed. Just like that. Now into the first stitch that we did right here, we are going to place 1 single crochet. Now when you get done with that, what you want to do is place your stitch marker into the first stitch. Now it is going to be a little bit tight. So for this first row, row 1, we are going to put 1 single crochet into every stitch around. Go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back here. Here I am back at the stitch marker. And what we want to do for round 2, again for the side piece, we are going to place 2 single crochets into every single stitch. So you will have a total of 10 stitches when you get done with this row. When you make that first stitch, just go ahead and make sure that you are placing your stitch marker right back in there, because we are working in the round, so it is easy to get lost. So go ahead and place 2 single crochets into every stitch, so we are increasing, and I will meet you back here at the end of round 2 for the beginning of row 3. Okay, so here I have done my 10 stitches. Now for row 3, into the first stitch, we're going to place 1 single crochet and put our stitch marker back. Now into the next 3, we're going to place 1 single crochet. So we are not going to be increasing into the next 3 stitches, but into the 4th stitch we will increase. So this is going to count as 1. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now into the 5th stitch, we're going to do an increase. So into this 5th stitch, we're going to place 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Okay, now over the next 4 stitches, we're going to place 1 single crochet into every single stitch. So there's 1, here's 2, 3, 4, and then into that 5th stitch, we are going to increase by putting 2 single crochets into that same stitch. Okay, so it should be taking shape. Now for row 4, we're just going to go ahead and place 1 single crochet into every stitch around, no decrease, and I will meet you back here. Okay guys, so here I am on my last stitch, and instead of doing a single crochet, I'm just going to do a slip stitch. Now into the 1st stitch, I'm going to place a slip stitch, and I'm going to yarn over, pull through, I'm going to cut off. Now we're going to leave a little bit of a tail because we are going to want to sew this in and pull that tight. Now I like to go ahead and just make a knot to make sure that it's not going to come undone. And then you'll want to go ahead and sew that in. Now what I like to do is take the tail end from the beginning and pull it through the center, because that's what we are going to use to sew it into our piece of work. And it looks like I accidentally used that as the knot. Okay, so we're going to want to pull that through the center, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that later. But the bit where we tied off, go ahead and sew that in. Now moving on to the next portion, we are going to start on the body of the amigurumi little bong here. Okay, so moving on to the body portion, we are going to start with the magic loop, magic ring method. And we are going to place 10 single crochets into the center of the loop, and I will meet you back here. Okay, so now that I have done my 10 single crochets, I am going to go ahead and pull that tight. Now moving on, we want to increase into every single stitch. So into the 1st stitch, we are going to place 2 single crochets, and then we'll place 2 single crochets into every stitch around. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back here. You should have a total of 20 stitches. All right, so moving on to round 3. Into the 1st stitch, we are going to place 1 single crochet and replace our stitch marker. Oops. Here we go. Okay, and into the 2nd stitch, we are going to place 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. And that's how we're going to do row 3. So into the next stitch, we'll do 1 single crochet. And then into the following stitch, we will place 2 single crochets. So go ahead and do this for round 3, and I will meet you back here. Okay, so here I am at row 4, and now into every single stitch around, you just want to place 1 single crochet. So we are going to do 1 single crochet for rows 4 through 10, and meet me back here at the end of row 10. Okay guys, so this is what it should look like once you do rows 4 through 10. Now for row 11, we are going to make a decrease. So in the 1st stitch, we are going to place 1 single crochet, and then over the next 2 stitches, we're going to decrease. So we're going to stick our hook in, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on our hook, just like that. And then into the next stitch, you will place 1 single crochet, just like that. Into the following 2, you will make a decrease single crochet. Make sure we pull these tight, okay? Into the following, we will do 1 single crochet, and then over the next 2, we will do a decrease. So go ahead and do that all the way around your work, and I will meet you back here, and we will start attaching the face, doing the eyes, the mouth, and everything else. Okay guys, so you should have gone around and decreased. As you see, I'm at the stitch right before my marker. Now what we want to do is place the eyes. It doesn't matter where you place them at on this. So what I like to do is not the row that we just worked in, but the one right below that is where I like to put the eye. Grabbing the second one, I place 1, 2, 3 spaces in between, and then I like to place the next eye right there. Now what we want to do is get the backing for our eyes and go ahead and pop those on. So now we want to cut 2 strips of pink for our cheeks and 1 strip for our mouth. These, I don't know, I did about the size of my forearm, and let's go ahead and start with that. So grab your tapestry needle. Now I like to start with the mouth. So I count down 2 stitches from the eye, so 2 rows, 1, here's the second row down, so 1, and in the second row, I go over right here underneath the eye, and that's where we're going to start at, but I'm going to come from the back and come out. A little tricky, but this stitch right here is where we want to start, right there, okay? Or however you want to do your mouth, but we pull that through and we want to leave a little bit left in the back so that we can tie it out. And now we're going to go over and down. So we're going to go over 1 stitch and count 1, 2, and in the center there we are going to push our needle back in. Okay, so we went over 1 and down. Again, I have the written instructions that you can purchase, and the link for that is going to be in the description box down below. Okay, so we're going to pull that through. Okay, so now we want it to come back up on the same side, but over. So obviously we're coming in, so we're going to want to go out. So I'm going to count over from where we're at, 1, 2 stitches, here's the third, and that's going to be right underneath the opposite eye. So we're going to come out right here. So you see here's 1 stitch underneath the eye, and then directly under there is where we want this to come out. Okay? And now we want to go directly back in the center from where we went previously. We're going to go from the outside in and pull that little guy through. Okay, so we've got our mouth started. Now I like to go over it twice, so what I'm going to do is go back out through here, in, and repeat. So you don't have to do that. You could just leave it like this if you would like. I'm actually just going to go through it one more time just to give it a little bit thicker. So I'm going to go back out through the same exact hole where we did before. Okay, just like that. And back in the center. Now we don't want to do this too terribly tight, but see how it just gives it a little bit of a thicker look. Now coming from the inside, I'm going to go back up and out the eye. Okay, and then I'm going to end by going in through the center for the mouth. Okay, just like that. Now what I want to do is just kind of pop this inside out, and I'm going to secure this just by making a knot. So go ahead and do that. Meet me back here, and we will go ahead and move on to the cheeks. Okay, so now we're going to work on the cheeks. I went ahead and did one just to show you guys. So we're going to count over 1, 2 stitches. So we're going to use the second and third stitches from where the mouth is and the next row down. So following on this side, we'll go 1 and 2. We always start from the outside and pull our way back. And we're going to leave a little bit of a tail so that we can tie that in. So now that we have come out here, we're going to count down 1 row and over. And we're going to pull it out. So we're going to make little crisscrosses, okay? So now we just went down a row. So when we come back, we are going to go into the stitch directly next to that. Okay, we're going to come out. And now we're going to go down on the opposite side so that we're making a little cross, okay? Because that's how we want little cheeks, is little crosses. If you want to do this any other way, that's totally fine. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do that again. So I'm just going to double it up. I'm going to come out one side, go back in, and just to prominent or make that little cheek a little bit more prominent. So remember, we want to keep our tail end, make sure we're not getting that twisted in there, because we're going to want that when we are sewing this back together, or when we're tying it off. Okay, so we have our little cheeks, okay? So now what we want to do is flip it inside out and tie it off like the other one. And I will meet you back here, and we're actually going to crochet a couple rows, and then you will want to grab the first part that we made. So go ahead and finish this off. Meet me back here with your crochet hook. Okay guys, so here we are back. We're going to count this as row 1 after making the face. So now we want to be doing a decrease row. So actually we are going to be doing 1 single crochet into every stitch, because the last row that we actually crocheted was a decrease. So now we are going to put 1 single crochet into every stitch around, and I will meet you back here for row 2 of our decreasing top part. Okay guys, now that we have that row done, we are going to attach the first piece that we made. So wherever your face is, we are going to be attaching this to the right or left side, wherever you would like. For me, I am going to be attaching it to the left side, just because that's the opposite side of where my stitch is, or my stitch marker is. So when we attach, this is just the starting point. I put it on the needle. And now I am going to put my needle in, and I'm going to be attaching it like right below the row that we just made, anywhere, somewhere on the side, wherever it appropriately fits the face of your item, just like that. Okay, so then once we have that pulled through, we are just going to need to fully attach this. So I just kind of go in and out until I feel that it's really secured on there. Make sure that you do not sew in the piece of yarns that you're actually working with currently. So just continue to go in and out, just weave it. I just go in, through, and then back through. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back here when I am all finished. Okay, so now at this point I would recommend stuffing to your desired amount for the bottom part of the body, because now what we want to do is we are going to work a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll do 10 rows with no more decreases, but go ahead, fill up the body, and then work 10 rows of single crochets. I will meet you back here and show you how to finish off the top, and then we will add in the side piece for the greenage along with the hangy guy keychain. Okay, when you get to this point, you want to go ahead and stuff this guy. Cut your bit, leaving a little bit of a tail, because we are going to sew that in and out. and go ahead, do that, stuff this, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so to finish off, we are simply just going to go back and forth through the top, and then we will singe this tight. So go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what it looks like when I am finished. Okay, so once you have that, you just have to pull it tight, and that's going to close off the top. Now go ahead and sew this in, the tail end, once you have a knot. Alright guys, so this is what it should look like when you are all finished with the body. Now for the little weed part, I just take some green and I just ball it up, and I take a little bit of my glue and glue the tip. So now to make sure that it's going to stay inside of the bowl, we are just going to make sure to fill this up the edges with some glue real nice. Put that aside, and then we want to take our little guy and put him in there. Now you do want to make sure that it fits, that you have it balled just the right size before you put it in there, okay? And then the next step would just to be to add your little keychain guy. So I will go ahead and do that. I'll show you what it looks like, and then we are all done, guys. Okay guys, and this is what it looks like when we are all finished. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and thanks so much for supporting my channel.